All right, welcome everybody to this special ISB Center Stage focused on Young Bassists Convention, the program that we've got put together. We have all kinds of people joining us today. I'm Jason Heath, and I'll be moderating this session, kind of keeping the ball rolling here. I'm joined by Tracy Rowell, Adam Booker, Wesley Thompson, Yoshi Horiguchi, Ira Gold, and we'll be joined also by John Hamill, Gabe Gaw, Spencer Chambers, and Maggie Carter. Gabe, Spencer, and Maggie have participated in the Young Bassist program in the past, and we'll also have a few professionals that have been in the program as well. So we'll be joined again, John Hamill, but also Sean Connelly. So welcome. Great to have everybody here. And Travis, I believe we have a convention performance video to show folks next. All right, it's great to see some of that footage from past conventions, and yeah, bravo to everybody participating there. And obviously things are going to be a little bit different for the convention this summer, and we've got all kinds of details about that. So I'm going to turn this over to Wesley Thompson to talk about the basics for the convention. Go ahead, Wes, whenever you're ready.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. It's so great to be here. It's so great to see so many people, so many names that actually were on that video that you just saw. That's so cool. So I'm Wes Thompson, and I am so excited to be running this part of the convention with such an awesome team. with Tracy and Adam and Yoshi and a whole team of people that we've got working on this. And this is my first time working on the convention as a board member on the education team. I'm so proud to have that role now. So a couple basics to start. So as you're learning about what we're going to do, you'll see all this information you're going to get today, but here's some basics first. It is going to be during the main convention, running from June 8th to the 12th. And a really cool thing that we are working on, just to make it as accessible as possible, the classes are going to occur at different points in the day, so that even though times will mostly be in our American time zones, we want this to be possible for students around the world. So we're going to have classes at different points in the day to not only align with different time zones, but also with school schedules, so that as many students who want to can partake in what we have to offer. You could see from this video that the YB convention is for anybody, any age, any ability, any background of bass player under 18 is welcome to attend. And you'll see we have another highlight reel later for you with even more genres of music represented. So if you are passionate about the bass in any way, or you have a student who is, this is the place for you. This convention will have something for everybody. As far as staff goes, we are going to be able to offer lessons and classes from professionals and teachers around the world, and again, from many different genres and many different backgrounds of bass playing. So you, of course, might be wondering, that video was in person, and you know that so many things were possible in person in 2019. What can we do online? Well, in fact, we can do a lot online, even though there are some limitations. We're all in different places. We can't play at the same time with mics on. We still have so many things that we'll be able to do. We will have large group warm-ups for all students, led by a variety of teachers from around the world. We will have smaller group technique classes and semi-private lessons for more one-on-one work with those staff members. We will have master classes and recitals specifically dedicated to the YB students. And because it's online, there will be options for live performance or possibly even pre-recorded. So that is a benefit that I think a lot of students will like as well. There will be electives on a huge variety of subjects, and the specialists will be talking to the students from their own space. So think of the possibilities that we could see coming from their own homes. We'll have roundtable discussions and special conversations, not only about the bass, but being a bassist, auditions, colleges, careers in music, so many things that we can bring right to your home. And as you'll hear about in just a couple minutes, this year we're going to have a couple different curriculum tracks that can be an option for students. We'll have some jazz options, some orchestral options, or you can try a little bit of everything. So you'll hear about that in just a couple minutes. But the biggest thing you might be wondering about is those performances. How is that going to be possible? Well, we are planning to do some of the virtual concert videos that have been so popular since the start of the pandemic. We will have the option for a chamber music video and a large bass orchestra video. That will occur before the convention actually begins, because that's a lot of work to put into 1 week. So the music will be sent out ahead of time for students interested, and you will have coachings with our world-class coaches before submitting videos that are recorded along with a click track. And just if you're not excited about that already, the bass orchestra piece is being written especially for us by Andres Martin. I think some of you maybe have heard of him before. He's pretty good. So he's writing a piece just for the young bassists. That is so, so cool. And of course, just like the video we saw, our videos from the convention this year will be premiered on the last day, on that Saturday. So we'll have a big virtual concert premiere party. So listen up to more information. You'll hear from some students today, and I will come back at the end to tell you how to apply.
Great. Thank you, Wes. And next, we're going to talk about those curriculum tracks, which is new. And we've got Tracy Rowell going to be describing some of this. And we'll also be hearing from Adam Booker and Ira Gold. So we'll hand this over to Tracy.
Yeah. So usually there are a lot of different courses that you can choose from, and you'll be able to see what's available ahead of time. And, if you would like to pick just a sampler of items, as Wesley mentioned, that's fine. But if you have a special interest in jazz, there will be a daily curriculum designed for people who really want to just focus on that kind of curriculum. And Adam Booker can say a few words about that in a couple minutes. And Ira Gold and I are putting together the orchestral program. Or mostly Ira is doing it. I think I'm teaching a class or two as part of it. And so again, we'll send out information ahead of time so you can prepare certain pieces that we'll be working on during the week. So I wonder if Adam or Ira might want to jump in here and talk about maybe a couple of things that you might have planned so far, things that you want to do.
Okay, well, hi, Adam Booker, and I'm just super excited to be here and talking to all y'all about this. I'm working with my friend and colleague, whose name is escaping me right now because there's just so many people in front of me and there's all these names. And we're what we decided to do. Actually, this is all in conjunction with the newly freshly started jazz competition. We always have these competitions. We have the youth orchestra or the youth solo competition. We decided that we should add a youth jazz competition so we wouldn't have 15-year-olds going up against 25-year-old doctoral students from Manhattan. It just seemed a little bit more fair and equitable. And as part of that, Madeline had the great idea of let's see about incorporating this into the youth jazz or into the youth bass program for ISB conventions. And so what we have planned for you guys is a week of literally that. We're going to be talking about different concepts in jazz. Right now what we're working on is like a tune a day, and we're going to talk about everything we could possibly talk about that tune, the harmony, the changes, how to solo over it, how to walk bass lines over it, how to play the melody, all that kind of stuff. A little bit of theory. There will be some theory. Don't worry, we're going to make it addressed to the students. It's not like graduate level jazz theory is going to be happening. It's going to be enough that you're going to hopefully walk away with this with a solid functional knowledge of how to play jazz on the bass. And of course, the last thing that any of us want to do is treat this like it's something that's completely separate. So the jazz curriculum is open to anybody within the youth bass program. It's not just because, oh, I just play jazz and I only want to play jazz. No, we want you to experience the full breadth and depth of the youth bass experience because there's so much happening there. So anybody that wants to come into one of the classes, it's not a sequential thing by any means possible. It's not like you have to go Monday in order to understand what's going to happen on Tuesday. It's going to be one of those things where each day is just its own little thing. So if you want to come in and sample what we have going on, and of course we're going to try to incorporate all the group warm-up exercises and group activities with the rest of the youth bass program. So like I said, we don't want to say you're either in jazz or you're in classical. That's just not the vibe that we're going for here. I don't think that's the vibe that ISB is going for, to be honest. And so it's open for all students. And of course, we're going to be having special guests drawn from the membership of ISB, and we have some amazing bass players for you lined up. So stand by because it's going to be a lot of fun. And Ira, would you like to talk about the classical orchestral program? That'd be awesome. I want to go to that one, actually.
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it. It's great to see everybody. Thank you for having me, and thank you to Tracy for reaching out and asking for my collaboration on this orchestral track. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 classes a day that will focus on standard orchestral repertoire. And the way it will work is you'll have a class that will be dedicated to sort of the technique around an excerpt or a certain style, say it's the Beethoven Fifth Symphony or Mozart Symphony or a Brahms Symphony. And there'll be a class focusing on the technique. So maybe you'll work on a sound concept or a bow stroke or work on it in scales to sort of get the style of the music. And then later there'll be another class that will just focus on the actual music. We have a few teachers who are already lined up to teach some of these classes, so it'll be a mixture. It won't have the same teacher every single class or every single day. So I wanted to mention some of those names. We have Nina DeCesar, who's a new member of the Baltimore Symphony, will be teaching. Christian Gray from the Washington National Opera. Brajan Jones from the Oregon Symphony. Sue Cahill from Colorado Symphony, and then Tracy and I will also be involved in some capacity doing some teaching as well. So we're going to work it out between all of us, and maybe people will teach their favorite composer. We'll figure out how it all works. But basically, we thought this would be a nice way for students who either do or do not have the experience working on some of this repertoire to kind of have a way to sort of work on it first before you work on the actual passages. And this is sort of a nice preview for what may take place if you're studying this kind of repertoire in college and potentially taking professional auditions. So it has a progression to it, and hopefully it'll be really valuable for anybody that wants to come check it out.
Well, thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Ira, for the details on those different curriculum tracks. And we've got some interviews from the 2019 convention. I believe I'm doing these interviews, if I remember right. So, Travis, if you wouldn't mind rolling that so folks can check it out.
My name is Sofia Villarreal. I live in Austin, Texas, and I'm in 12th grade. I actually just graduated high school. What I really liked about the ISB convention this week was, particularly about the Young Bassists program, I really liked being able to play in our master classes and getting that opportunity, because I feel like since we're younger, we don't, it gives us the opportunity to work with the greats, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, my name is Maggie Carter, and I live in Portland, Oregon, which is a long way away from Bloomington, and I'm homeschooled, but am in official school. I'm in 7th grade. I really appreciate how there's so many different professionals and really famous bassists who are really sound in all their techniques and have that really all figured out, and how I have the chance to work with them, and like some this year, especially just getting to work with like Caroline Emery side by side every day. Like, it's just something you don't get in your ordinary life, and so it's been really fun to get to do that, and I've learned so much from them. Every time I come back, there's also so much knowledge and learning going on at ISB that you just come home with your head full of new ideas, and you have to process it all, and it takes a long time.
Yeah, okay, you're upbeat.
Hi, I'm Viviana Domeneghi. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I just graduated high school. Yeah, big accomplishment. What I love about ISB is that you get to meet so many different people, and you learn so much, because every single masterclass, whether you're playing in it, whether you're not, you're still learning, because still everything can be applicable to you. And I've been taking notes this year, because last time at ISB, I went home and I was like, huh. So I took notes this year, and it's great to be looking back at those notes. And it's really a place where everyone can meet each other, which is so important in the musical world, to know people and be able to collaborate and be flexible with them.
And what do you see, same question I just asked her, what do you see yourself doing after college? Deep question.
I'm probably going to do more freelance. I've been invited to apply to the musician union in Minneapolis, all of Minnesota. So I'll probably join that very quickly here. I would love to do a little bit of what Lloyd Goldstein does, is play in hospitals, because that's just so important, is to hear music, even just the last time you can really hear a live performance, or just to help you get better. Just music helps so much. And I do kind of have a plan of, this is going to be ambitious, and when I look back, I'm going to be like, oh God. I want to bring the bass into the forefront of modern music. So I want to be collaborative with pop artists to start bringing it up and do like collaborations. So then people are like, oh, is that a cello? And we'd be like, no, it's not a cello. It's a bass.
I think we all know that line. That's great. Thanks, Travis, for playing that. And it's great to hear from these students as they're actually doing the experience. We have a few people that have gone through this program. And so why don't we start with Gabe Gaw? And Gabe, it would be great to know about your experiences doing the Young Bassist program. What are some of your favorite memories from your time in the Young Bassist program? Anything you want to share?
Well, first off, hi, I'm Gabe. I'm first year at CIM. Some of my favorite memories at the ISB included, well, of course, as they said in the video, meeting some of the amazing bassists that they have to teach the students, and also meeting the students themselves, because a lot of them are very cool and interesting people. Of course, bassists are some of the nicest people I've ever met. So those include some of my favorite memories. I've also really enjoyed playing in the big bass ensemble. It's just really cool to see that just however many bassists that were on that stage, and then all of us playing together. It's also really fun. And also the chamber groups were also a blast. Playing in I played in the octet with Gareth Wood. I think it was the video presented at the beginning of the meeting, but
Nice. If someone's thinking about doing this, if they're a student or they're a teacher or they're a parent, do you have any advice for someone who's thinking about doing this program?
I mean, personally, it's really, there's nothing to lose from attending, and you have everything to gain for attending. You can, as I said, meet some of the best bassists in the world. You also get the opportunity as a young bassist in the Young Bassist Convention to be able to learn from them and have master classes with them. And I really think that these students who want to attend the Young Bassist Convention don't really need to feel intimidated for being there, because they have sort of, at any level that you're at skill-wise, you have an opportunity to learn whatever is being taught, or at any point you'll need it, use it.
It's great, Gabe. Thank you so much. Let's go over to Spencer Chambers. And anybody who has been with the ISB for a few years will probably remember this wonderful photo of Spencer with Christian McBride from, I believe, the 2017 convention. And Spencer, it's great to have you here. Spencer, what's one of your favorite memories from doing the Young Bassist program?
Okay, so one of my favorite memories of going to the program was that I got to, Gabriel said, I got to meet famous people like Mimi Jones, Ron Carter, Christian McBride, and John Clayton, and Chi-Chi Nwanoku, and Rufus Reed.
That's a good list of people.
And I stayed at the same hotel as Ron Carter.
It
was a very great experience. It was a very great experience.
Well, that's one of the great things about the bass conventions is people are so friendly in the bass world, and you get a chance to actually run into these people that you've heard about your entire life. You must have been so enthusiastic after that convention going back home. You must have had so many great ideas and just been so inspired to work on your bass playing. Is that how you felt?
Yes. Yes. You get to go to, and this is my advice, go to every class and then you can sleep when you get home.
There you go. Every single person is nodding their head, Spencer. That's great.
And I like how, when I was there, we did this bass exercise and there was 70 basses in the room, and it sounded like drones when we played at the same time. It was amazing. And also, it was like when you get to go to the ISB, it's like a whole family of basses. It's like my village.
That's a great way to put it, Spencer. Wow. Let's go to, thank you, Spencer. Let's go to Maggie Carter, who we heard on that clip. And so we're a couple years down the road with Maggie. Maggie, tell us, well, you kind of told us about the experience, but what are some of your favorite memories? Share anything else you want to share that we didn't get out in that last clip.
Okay. Well, so I think that, I mean, to be more specific, I think, like in the opening clip that we showed, sitting on the stage at the final concert, when the groups are getting up, but you're sitting there, and it's like you're surrounded by this sea of bassists, and you sort of realize in a very potent way how wonderful it all is, and also that it's almost over, and then that part makes you sad, but you're so happy while you're there sitting just in that, and I guess you're with them all throughout the week, but on that concert, you're on the stage and you're all there, and I don't know. And then I think one of the other things for me that's my favorite is because I feel like you can't really separate the Young Bassist program and the main convention. At least it's hard for me to separate them. So going to the Young Bassist program doesn't mean you can't go to the evening concerts or even some of the afternoon recitals. So I really think that the evening concerts, I sit in them with my friends, and so it's this mix of being with people who you only get to see every once in a while, who you really love a lot, and then hearing these super inspiring world-class soloists and other professionals doing recitals, and so yeah, I love that part too.
What if someone's on the fence thinking about going to this program? What advice would you have for a parent, a student, a teacher thinking about taking the plunge and getting involved with this?
Well, to start with, you should come. You won't regret it. I think for one, people come to ISB from a long way away. So, there's a bunch of amazing camps, but I think ISB is really unique in that people come from so far away to get there. And the farther people are willing to come from, the greater, pool of amazing people you're going to have to learn from. So I think I love ISB because of, I think, like I said in that clip, all of the master classes and just the people you get to meet. And yeah, the master classes, it's just so many amazing people. And also, I mean, because there's 1,500, I don't know, something like that, bassists, you can, after the Young Bassist program is over, you just go over and you see somebody and you're like, hey, can I play for you? Let's go to the basement. And then you go to the basement and you play for them. I mean, you learn, you meet new people, and you play for these people who it's important to, connect with. And then also, I think the thing I love about it is the family. It's that it's bringing me into the ISB-based family, which is not like really any other family, at least in the string family, I'm sure. But, I don't know that there's any other instrument that has an ISB like thing. And, I think by coming to the ISB conventions, I'm growing up into the ISB family so that, 4 years from now when I can't come to the Young Bassist program anymore, I'll be able to join that family of, the main family. So I think that's really special, and that's something I love about the Young Bassist program.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Spencer said with it's our base village. And like Spencer was also saying, you're running into all your heroes, whether you're staying in the same hotel with Ron Carter or you're just seeing all these people walk by, and the openness and friendliness of that community. It's like something particularly special about the bass community, I think. So thank you, Maggie, and thank you to Gabe, and thank you to Spencer. And as you keep going in your career, many people become professionals and look back with great fondness on this program. And we have two people we're going to talk with right now. Sean Connelly, who I don't even know where to start with what he does, Silk Road Ensemble and a ton of other things. What an incredible player, and what a great ISB opening his eyes to the bass world story. Welcome, Sean. And do you want to tell folks about coming from Hawaii and going to that first bass convention and just what that experience was like for you?
Sure. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, everyone. Hi, everybody. I'm Sean Conley, and I did come to that convention knowing very little about the bass, and it was the beginning of everything. I basically feel like I owe my whole life and career to going to that first festival, because it was so eye-opening and inspiring and wonderful. And so, like Jason said, I went from Hawaii to Houston, Texas, to Rice University for the 1997 ISB convention. And like everybody's saying, the evening concerts were incredible. I was in the 14 and under competition and was thoroughly convinced that every other competitor had a different instrument. Their instruments definitely, it wasn't the bass that I played, because they were so amazing. So I was so inspired and humbled and excited to dive in more. And the Young Bassist program really helped me do that, because so many of the people that I was hearing in master classes or hearing in the hallways trying out basses that were my age, I could just talk to them about it and say, well, how are you doing this? And who do you listen to? What am I supposed to check out? And I just remember being in the bass choirs and hearing the different levels of all the different parts, everybody playing amazing different things, and looking over and trying to figure out what people are doing. And Bert Turetsky teaching us how to play the basses with chopsticks, and me accidentally dropping a chopstick in my bass and being terrified, and him helping me get it out very easily. But it was just a really, really amazing experience. And like we were talking about for this coming summer, melding the jazz and classical worlds together. Even at that time, I felt like we had a great sampling of different types of music. And as a young bassist, that was really exciting to me, and made me realize that I could do all of that as I grew up, which is what I do now. So it really has shaped my whole life, in that I can, at that convention, we're playing jazz-inspired bass ensemble music and classical-inspired bass ensemble music, and hearing recitals and playing, and there was really no separation in how it was presented to me as a young bassist. So as I continued on, it felt like there should be no separation. And I really think that that's a fantastic way to do it, and owe a huge debt of gratitude to the ISB and to the Young Bassist program, and would encourage everybody to go do it. And I want to go do it again.
Well, that's a great image of chopstick retrieval lesson from Bert Turetsky at the bass convention. And Sean, you and I were talking recently. I don't know if I remember the exact lineup of one of these particular concerts, but wasn't it one of these? That's another one of the special things about the ISB convention. Typically, are these evening concerts. Do you remember who was on? Wasn't it like do you remember the lineup? Yeah, to share that lineup.
Yeah, so it was. I might get some pieces wrong, but first thing was Hal Robinson, I believe, playing a Dave Anderson concerto premiere with the Rice Orchestra, and then brief intermission, Francois Raboth playing the new Frank Proto 4 pieces after Picasso paintings with the Shepherd Rice Orchestra, and then real intermission and the super bass trio, which was Ray Brown, John Clayton, and Christian McBride. And as I think I told you, Jason, and I like to say, that you can't have seen that concert and not wanted to be a bass player for the rest of your life, because it's like the most monumental concert. It knocked me out. So that whole week seemed to be that every night, hearing so many amazing concerts. You just have to do it.
Yeah. It's pretty special, and it's so cool to look at your career, Sean, and just sort of see how you could almost look at that concert as a blueprint for the way that you meld everything that you do at such a high level. It's really cool. Thank you for chatting. And we have Johnny Hamill on the line too, who has another life-changing, life-altering, totally changed the course of what he did, I think would be safe to say, by going to the ISB convention. Can you just tell that story of who you met at that first convention and how that changed your path, I guess?
Yes. So I was actually at the same convention as Sean, the 97 one. And I went there because I'm from Kansas and, I like playing the bass. I was actually still in college. I was just like, what's this bass thing? and it was in Houston, and my keyboard player in my rock band his parents lived in Houston, so I had a free place to stay. So I literally just went there by chance to the ISB. The first day I'm in class, I was a music ed major, so I was going to have my own orchestra and jazz band and stuff like that. And so I went there and I looked at the list, and I was going to all the education kind of lectures. And sure enough, the person next to me was George Vance, and he was nice as can be. And I didn't have a pencil because I'm a bass player, and he loaned me a pencil, and I started writing stuff down, and I was just talking to him about the topic of that and how it would relate, and oh, this is great. And I was like, and we just talked. He was very friendly. So then I was like, what else should I go to? And he's like, well, this Francois Rabat guy, he's really good. And so we went. I was like, okay. So I'm just following him around, and we sit in the master class, Francois master class, and it was in this great big lecture hall at Rice. And so they were way up there on the stage, so it wasn't very intimate. And at first, Francois's microphone wasn't working, so the first person played, and Francois was talking. So it was, okay, this is a little boring. What's going on here? I don't understand. And then the second person got up and played Braise, the piece Braise. And in the middle of Braise, when it gets all crazy, Francois got excited about the students playing and decided to play with him, along with him. And then the fireworks just came out. And I never seen anyone do that on a bass ever. I mean, it's in the middle. To me, it was like Hendrix on bass, with all the artificial harmonics, and he just exploded. And I still think he played it for what seemed like an hour. And I was teleported out of my body. And so then I just looked at George after that, and I was like, well, I'm just going to follow you around every class, so we just I went and had lunch with him, and he was just so nice. And by the third or fourth day, I was mainly hanging, obviously this guy knows what to do. I have no idea just where I'm supposed to go. I'm just digging everything, mind blown within the first 2 hours of the convention. And then it comes to find out he's this famous, bass teacher, and I didn't know. And he gives a lecture at the thing, and then at the end of the week, he goes, well, I teach little kids how to play the bass. And I was like, right then, that's when I knew I wanted to teach little kids to play the bass. I knew I didn't want to, I had to go back and finish my college thing, and I didn't tell any of my teachers that I wasn't going to go get a real job. I was just going to teach I was going to do what George did, and that's all I've been doing since. So I owe, like Sean, I owe my whole life to the ISB. I do everything I can to help the ISB. I want to say this to what I really love about the ISB young bassist thing, because there is just such there's such a danger in that. There's this amazing advanced workshop going on for professionals and teachers, but the young bassist workshop is the Super Bowl of all young bass workshops around the world. I started my workshop patenting off of the ISB one, but it's the Super Bowl of all of them that we go to, because you have this professional one, and Maggie kind of spoke about that's going on too. But so it's so easy to think, oh, all the students are just going to run out of there and go to the professional one. But if you go to the professional one as a young bassist, you don't get the same kind of experience, because as a professional, every ISB, I take my bass, and every time I walk away from there, I'm like, why did I even bring my bass? I didn't have time to get my bass out and practice. I didn't get to play my bass because I'm always going to the professional side of things. You're going to this lecture, that lecture, this performance, it's nonstop. And as Spencer says, you don't want to sleep. You just want to go to everything for a week. It's fine. You'll catch up on sleep later. But the young bassist thing, you actually get to play. And I think at a young age, the idea of playing all the time is very important, because I don't think sitting there listening to the lecture is easy to do. And to actually move your bow along with the greats, whew, that's, very special. Working just in master classes, playing for other people. It's really, there's no other young bassist program that could even match it. As I said, a Super Bowl of basses. And to have it online, I mean, this is going to blow the doors off of things for those kids. So any teacher out there, just, tell your students to go, because they're just, it'll life-changing moments. Any of my students that make it to the ISB, even though they have one in their own hometown, it's totally different. They see the bigger picture, the big bass family, and it's just incredible. And I say the last thing about the young bassist thing, how much it's evolved, because there's that idea that now we have students like Maggie and Sean when he was young. Like, Sean terrified me, along with Ted Botsford, Nina. Like, I knew them when they were on, quarter-size basses. Maybe not Sean. You were at least a little bit older. I don't remember. I remember you on a full-size bass. But, like, they would show me stuff, how to play things in the bass orchestra. It was awesome. It was so cool. And they have all this ability to grow, and it's, I don't know, I'm losing my train of thought. So it's just really amazing. You got to go.
Yeah, well spoken, and that's actually a great segue to what we've got next. And we all are looking forward to getting back to in-person events, whether it's the following ISB convention or the events that other folks on the call, like Johnny and Wes, organize. But that, like Johnny sort of alluded to, there are some benefits to doing this online. So there's some real perks, and we'll turn this over to Yoshi to describe some of those perks. Go ahead, Yoshi.
Thanks, Jason. Hello, everyone. My name is Yoshi Horiguchi, and I had the pleasure of working with these fabulous people in the 2019 convention at IU, where we all got to wear those fantastic red t-shirts. It was a fun time seeing everyone in that sea of red. It was good stuff, good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, if you're in high school, ISBYB. Middle school, ISBYB. Elementary school, ISBYB. Even if you have not started school or an education yet, ISBYB. Just grab a bass, grab a bow, should be good. I remember in high school, I went to all-state orchestra, and just from the section of like 8-10 bassists that were in that section from my region where I grew up, I still have relationships with them, both professionally and personally. I mean, some of my best friends, even now, I met through All-State Orchestra. I met people I work with to this day at All-State Orchestra, Nina DeCesar being one of them, Andrew Abayer from New World Orchestra. It's really cool. And so I can't imagine if that's the relationships that I met from, like 10 bassists. If I had gone to ISB, if I knew what ISB was, I could have made so many more relationships with so many more people that, I have the opportunity to do now. But man, like, what an opportunity that I could have had and that we all have now from anywhere around the world. I mean, unfortunately, the silver lining of the pandemic hitting us, the silver lining of it, though, is that we can log on from anywhere in the world and take classes from anybody in the world. I mean, this is like, no longer are you picking kids to be on your kickball team from your playground, but like you have the whole world to pick from, which is super, super amazing. So bam, classes online, master classes online, boom, group classes online. And it's also, with the chat feature, it kind of has this like Twitch streaming live stream vibe to it too, which is super awesome, you know. So like it's kind of like texting in class, but like you're allowed to do it, you know, which is pretty sweet. And yeah, and there's also an element though online that one would think that you could miss out on, like, you know, the social aspect of running into friends in the halls, walking to class together, walking to lunch together, because, you know, we got to eat as bass players, right, to be able to fuel our bodies to pick up the large instruments. But there will also be many social events that we'll be hosting online too. So in addition to classes, you know, we'll have game times, lunch times, meal times, social times. And that'll happen across all different time zones, accessible to all different time zones. We'll have some in the morning, we'll have some in the afternoon, we'll have some in the evening. So, you know, even if, you know, it's one of the class sessions is in the middle of the night for you, hopefully one of them is accessible to you timeline wise. You know, so if you're in Asia, Australia, South America, I don't know if there's any Antarctican bass players, but if you're in Antarctica, log on. It's going to be for you. So, you know, this year, while you may not be able to, what was it, room with Ron Carter, right, Spencer? I don't know, maybe Gary Carr will pop in for a Scrabble visit or something. Oh.
That's awesome. Thank you, Yoshi. And yeah, it's great to point out some of those benefits that we can have from this year's Young Bassists program. We've got another video, another 2019 convention performance video. So Travis, if you want to roll that for everybody. Thank you, Travis. It's great to see some familiar faces and great beatboxing from Yoshi. That's excellent. We just got a few more details for you here before we wrap up today. We're going to turn this over to Tracy to talk about the Practice-A-Thon.
Okay, so this year we have a special project going on, which is a Practice-A-Thon, which is a way to raise money for the International Society of Bassists, which is an educational not-for-profit. And we do lots of great things like putting on this convention. And also we give scholarships, and we know that a lot of people might need a scholarship right now. We're all in a pandemic, and we want to do everything possible that we can to make any student who wants to attend the convention, we want to make that possible for them. So the way the Practice-A-Thon works is you just go about doing what you usually do, which is practice. And you pick 7 consecutive days, and we're hoping for the month of March. If it bleeds into a couple of days in April, I think we're okay with that too. So pick 7 days of the month of March to practice every day, and you can get pledges from your friends and family, either by the minute, or you could take a flat donation. And then when you're when you're done with your practicing, they will either give you, 10 cents a minute, or if you practice a lot of minutes, that you could earn a lot of money. There will be prizes that you can get, some top prizes, and for all age groups. They might include, a lesson with a famous bassist. I heard that a really top practice person might possibly get to play a virtual duet with Gary Carr. We've had some amazing donations from all kinds of vendors. There's music, there's CDs, there's swag. And if you raise $15 for the ISB, you can get a student virtual membership to the ISB for a year, which usually costs more than that. So it's not too late, and there's information out there. I can put a link to the Practice-A-Thon information in the chat in a minute.
Great. Thank you, Tracy. Great idea. And I did a conversation with pretty much the same panel talking about similar things about this upcoming convention that I'll be putting out as a podcast within the week. And so if you want to share out to people, obviously we can share the ISB worldoffice.com website and the Young Bassist page there to anybody. But if you know somebody or a parent or student who'd rather listen to a conversation similar to what we've done today, that'll be available free to the public. And then we're going to just wrap up here. If there are any questions from the audience, I haven't been fielding the chat here, but if we have any questions, I don't know if Travis has been looking. I will look through here too. Feel free to jump in. Okay, we have no questions, which is fine. And if anybody has specific questions, info@isbworldoffice.com is the general email, but there is also another email that Wes can share. So I think I'll turn this over to Wes to just wrap up here with the final details.
Thanks, Jason. And yeah, thank you again, everyone, for coming and sharing your thoughts. Amazing stories. I echo what Yoshi said. I wish I had been able to attend the convention when I was younger too, but even attending now as an adult is life-changing, and being part of this online version, I know will be life-changing as well. So I just wanted to wrap up once again, say thank you to everyone. And I did just put our ISB Young Bassists email in the chat. If you have any questions, or if any students or family members have questions, direct them to us. We can clarify anything you need. Also, I wanted to say that next week's Center Stage event is Frank Proto and Tom Knifick in conversation. So I got the job of talking about that. We will be able to have the application ready to send to you very, very soon. If you registered for today's event, you will get an email very soon with the application. Look out for that and sign up, spread the word to any young bassist, not any, every young bassist you know, to sign up for the convention with us this summer. So thanks again, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend.